So I'll rewind a little bit from Michael's presentation. I'll rewind back to a couple of years ago where we all found and came into this map here, this one. And I'm just an average person without any mystical knowledge or any super powerful skill or anything. I'm French. I was born and raised and lived in France. I did some of my university in the USA. That's why I speak English. But definitely, I'm French. And when I saw that map, I didn't know what to think of it. It looked like Oak Island, and it had tons of inscriptions and sections, areas. And most of the people, or some of the people I saw on forums and commenting this map saying it was fake and a hoax. The most frequent reason why people claimed it was fake was the bad spelling of the words in French with full of errors. And the fact that this date here, 1347, which people claim was the date at which the Templar landed on Oak Island, and that map was as old as that, and it was a testimony from the Templars, that can't be true, and therefore it's a fake. And I was with that and I was looking at it. But one thing I knew for sure being French is that we don't write dates this way in French, even in the old Middle Ages time. Um, so I knew this because of the un up front. We don't put articles in front of dates. That's all. We just claim the date, just like in English. So I knew something was strange there, and I remarked that. So the first thing I did, and actually Michael did the same on his side, is date all those words. I took the National Scientific Library Dictionary, which got all the French words, and explained what date this started to be used in the French language, to try to have a hint on any of those words, since they, like, if today, if you look at 30 years ago, the word iPhone didn't exist. So if somebody talks about an iPhone in a text, you know, it's been written after a certain date. It's the same I was trying to look for here. And the fact that some wrong spelling, grammar errors everywhere. Um, I worked 15 years ago on Rennes-le-Château mystery in South France that inspired the Da Vinci Code story. And most of the documents that got deciphered were full of mistakes. And those mistakes were to catch your attention. And they were crying out, "Look at me, I'm an error." So that's the knowledge, and that's what I had in my hand when I started studying this map. And one part of the map that really triggered my attention here, it's that section here. Sept dessins pour Monsieur François La Rochefoucauld, un petit verre. And I definitely marked that this was the end of the sentence with the final dot. And d'après Noustria was something else. And I was concentrated on this. And I was concentrated on the verre here word. Verre means in French a glass when it's spelled that way, a glass to drink. So this was the story of somebody sketching a drawing, the La Rochefoucauld map, for Mr. François La Rochefoucauld. I was thinking of a drunk English sailor that didn't know how to write French very well, making full of mistakes, and having a glass and giving Mr. La Rochefoucauld this map. No, that's not what it was. But that's how I was thinking 6 months ago. The other thing that caught my attention is that the V was separated from the ERRE words, letters. And in French, when you read that, you read VR, and R is a verb, means to wander with no purpose. So I'd caught that in that word, there were two words hidden. One was the glass, matching with the sentence or the context, but one was talking about a little V that was wandering without purpose. So I started to go crazy and look at all the V's on the map, starting with this V, and I found the right hand side, the right dash, to be very straight. And I drew the line by pure, I don't know what I was doing. I just drew that line and bang, it hit the compass right in the middle. And at the time, I was searching of anagrams here, anagrams there, looking, this separates those two sentences in two parts. There may be a reason. We didn't know what we were doing. We were really exploring. And then I decided to take all the V's on the map and draw all the lines on the V's because I really didn't know what I was doing. And 4 months later, I was on a Sunday afternoon on the couch. My wife was next to me, and I was looking at that text, looking for anagrams. Anagrams being you reorganize the letters to make new sentences or new words. I was trying things that way. First thing I noticed is that the two first lines were 26 letters each, exactly. And my wife was asking me, "What you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm just checking anagrams on an Oak Island riddle. It's a treasure map." She didn't know what it was, and I told her, "You wouldn't be interested." And she went, "No, I'm not." But I was doing notes on my checks on my notebook, and she looked over my shoulder and she said, "What are you looking at?" And I said, "I'm looking at that sentence. It just puzzles me. I don't understand." I saw the truth. 5 seconds later, she told me, "Hey, you got an Alexandrian there." A what? An Alexandrian. It's a rhyme. It's a little verset made of 12 syllables. It's a poetic form. She spotted that right away because when you say it, ce dessin pour Monsieur François La Rochefoucauld, you got 12 syllables. That makes an Alexandrian. And an Alexandrian is a little verset. How do you say verset in French? You say vers, again, for the third time. And it's a huge, huge pun. They're saying, uh, that little thing there is a little vers. Yes, it is. It's a small Alexandrian. So all of a sudden, that sound structure was used 3 times in the same little phrase. And that put a flash in my brain. So this is a clue. This is definitely a hidden clue that this is an Alexandrian of 12 syllables, making a little ver, just like the little ver to drink and the little VR. I didn't know where I was going, but I felt this was a clue. And I explain here in this table uh, all the sound ver in French, the 7. The 7 meanings with 7 different words that use the same sound. And here they are on the right-hand side. And you'll notice the green. Ver is green. We'll talk about this later. So here I am now, and now I'm just keep on connecting things on and on and on and on, and that's where I will match and rejoin dot to dot. But just before that, I needed more clue. Am I on the right direction, finding ver and ver and ver? I want to show you something else. Something called the language of the bird. I saw quickly in the chat somebody was referring to the language of the bird. The language of the bird, I'm not going to just read everything. Look at the last bit. In medieval France, the language of the birds, la langue des oiseaux, was a secret language of the troubadours, the gestures, connected with the tarot. It's a card game, still exists, allegedly based on puns and symbolism drawn from homophony, same sound. In the Middle Ages, you didn't have internet to carry the news, not even newspaper. It was troubadours, gestures that would go from a castle to the other, from a duchy to the other, and they would sing the news from the next county. And they had spies from one county to the other in those castles, and to inform the spies of news in plain air in front facing everybody, they were hiding messages by playing the sounds in the songs and the lyrics to this audience, and whoever knew the code could pick it up and understand something. I'm giving you a quick explanation in English. What is that language of the bird, also called green language, langage vert? For instance, if I'm asking Michael what time is, or if he asks me, it's 1:58 here. What time is it at your place? It's 1:58 here. What time is it at your place? I could answer, it's 2222. 1:58 222, and it's 2222. And I'm playing with the sound, and I'm using 3 different words, 2, 2, and 2, for 3 different reasons with the same sound. That's how the map is coded. And the confirmation of this here is when you look at the François La Rochefoucauld, if you pay close attention with a magnifier, or if you really zoom in with a slideshow, what I found here is a little bird, and that's the representation of a magpie. I tried to highlight it, but it's kind of a clue of a confirmation that, yeah, we're going to use the language of the bird to decode this map. So that's where I was when I started. I had all those lines here. That's my final work with the lines because, yeah, why not draw a line through the boats? Why not draw a line through those things that look a line? I didn't have any method. I was just discovering and trying things. And then I had a small confirmation later that the meaning of the word vert would have to be used, and that's how the whole map was coded. And those lines, I found some of them with the instructions, with the double reading with the key of the language of the bird. You have to be fluent French. I remember when the document was discovered at Zina Halpern, the story tells that a French teacher, an American or a English-speaking Canadian French teacher was there and started decoding the map, but that's not sufficient. It has to be your mother tongue in order to decode it, meaning it has to be your mother tongue to code it, by the way. And I was stuck with those maps, and the last thing that happened, and I will finish my speech for now. The last thing that happened is when I decided to uh, take Michael's video, whom I didn't know at the time. Now we are on the 4th of January, that's the date of this year. And I was following his channel, and I was more or less convinced with the geometric progression. I'm totally now. But he was reaching a point where visually he had drawn what you saw. It was less elaborated at the time. And what I did is that I took my map, I took his drawings, I tried to overlay them. I didn't have a scale, I didn't have an orientation. I was moving that thing around, stretching it, and bang, something was matching. Something was matching more than 2 or 3 points. There was a lot of coincidences. And by working out, we realized that the map here with those drawing was giving the south and north anchor points, which were, as their names say, anchoring the map on the overlay of the Google Earth on the island. And Michael, by a trait of genius and some comments on his forum that triggered his brain, on the chat of one of the YouTube video, somebody said, somebody has the question, what was the ancient French feet to nowadays feet? And bang, I think Michael had a spark and took that value here, 1,347, pretended it was ancient French feet, converted them back to modern feet, and start measuring the island, and bang, it found something extraordinary about the scale. So that's going to be my first break. If we have any question on the way I came into this. Since then, since I overlaid and mapped on it, I took contact with Michael, and then we realized that the geometric progression, the Nolan's research, and the La Rochefoucauld map were all showing the same design on the island when you overlay them correctly. They are all talking about the same thing, though they come from 3 different sources. And that's a remarkable thing. What we carried on doing with Michael is to now identify all those points on the island through the construction he showed you. And you must understand that I could never have gone any further because I don't master and I don't have the patience to go over Google Earth, and I didn't get the geometric progression myself. That's Michael. Michael couldn't have gone further without the French translation and the French hints hidden in that map. There's even, believe it or not, there's a comic book, like a Spider-Man book drawings hidden in that map. I'll show you later, maybe. This map is rich of information, and by the convergence and the crossing of our work, we could go further where we would, singled out, without working together, we would never have gone to where we are today.